Hi guys, you're about to watch an interview that was done with myself just a few days ago. This was an interview with one of the channelers that was featured in my channeling docuseries, and that's Marilyn Harper. Now, I've interviewed Marilyn a few times on my talk show, and I'll put those links below. And it was grateful to have the tables reversed and to be on Marilyn's monthly show called the Double Digit Numerology, which is a monthly activation and state of the universe message. Now, if you want to support Marilyn and the amazing work that Marilyn and her team are doing, then why not sign up for her monthly webcast? Now, each month, Marilyn is joined by a special guest like myself, and these activations and shows are only available through her website. So you'll be able to expand the monthly conversation with like-minded people from all over the planet with her private Facebook group as well. And Marilyn and Adironda, who she channels, will also be available for conversations there. So when you sign up, you'll also get 10% off anything on the Adironda.com web store, and you'll find all her double-digit recordings for the past years and more. So just go to channeling.com/double digit to sign up now and enjoy my conversation with Marilyn and Adironda and the State of the Universe message for July 2020 and beyond.
Hello, and welcome to the 7-7 double digit. We are so excited to be here with you tonight. And as you probably know, we have a very special guest in the studio, Kevin Moore, who Marilyn will introduce you to in just a moment. But before we get started, I just want to talk a little bit about live streaming. It does require a lot of bandwidth, so if you are joining us for the first time tonight, you might want to make sure that everything else on your desktop is closed out. Close out all windows. You don't even need your browser because Zoom has its own browser. So tonight, without any further ado, we will do a Q&A a little bit later, and Adironda will come out. But I believe Marilyn is going to talk to Kevin first. So let's bring Marilyn out. Are you there, Marilyn?
I am right here. I have been. Yay. I don't have a echo that I know of. If I do have an echo, then somebody needs to tell me that. But I can't look at the camera and the chat at the same time. So, yes, I am excited because Kevin Moore of the Kevin Moore Show out of the UK, the United Kingdom, is our guest tonight. And we wanted him to be our guest for many reasons, other than the fact that he's just simply so much fun. I met Kevin several years ago. I believe it was, 2017 or 18. And
weren't we at an event, Marilyn, when we met Kevin?
Yes, I was on his show, the Kevin Moore Show, which is a YouTube docuseries. I was on his regular show, and he can tell us more about that. And then he invited me to be on his docuseries. They call us channelers. And he kind of woke up in, I don't know when he woke up, but he got involved in this when he was in college. And he started the Kevin Moore Show in 2008 at the university. And then he started interviewing philosophers and paranormal researchers and life coaches and spiritual teachers, which led him to me. and I enjoyed so much being interviewed by him. And then when I met him, and we met him in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia.
That's right. It was most unusual place to meet a guy from the UK.
It was an interesting little hotel, I remember, that we were at, and it actually had the same sofa and the same chair that I had in my house. Which is very weird. Anyway, I am thrilled. And then when Kevin came to Springfield, Missouri to do part of the interview series, which is on They Call Us Channelers on the YouTube. Did I say that already? Docuseries. And then we actually channeled together. Kevin channeled and I channeled, and Adironda and his group, I believe it's the One or the Oneness. The two channels had a conversation. It's recorded somewhere. I'm not sure where it is, but I'm sure it's on our website somewhere. And it was so fascinating that I thought he would be great to be our second guest after Lee Carroll, who channels Cryon on the Double Digit. Then I found out he doesn't channel anymore. So let me introduce you to my friend and our friend. Kevin, are you there?
I am. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. That I'm your second guest after Lee Carroll as well. That's a great honor. I'll just say that. It was actually yourself that actually connected us with Lee Carroll in the end. I don't know if you remember that. So
I do remember that.
You do, yeah. And I remember. We've still got one more interview of yours in that chair you were just talking about when we did that first interview with yourself. And yeah, it was a very strange place to meet at that particular event. But I'm so glad I did, because we went back to Missouri, I think it was, Springfield, and we recorded your part for the docuseries. And you also helped us introduce us to some other channelers locally as well. So I want to thank you for that as well. So yeah, never did I think it was going to take so long to put that channeling docuseries out. It did take a while, and it was going to be a documentary. One day it will be, but I decided to release it to begin with as a channeling docuseries, and I'm so glad I did. And I used to channel. We did a channeling session together, and it was my channeling, practicing channeling back in, when was it? 2014, 15, that led us sort of to do the docuseries. So, yeah.
So, and why did you stop channeling then?
I got into murder. That was it, simply. Yeah, I got into making murder docuseries. I'm doing my first murder docuseries, which gets released this year. And I guess with doing the channeling docuseries and the murder docuseries, I just wanted to give it. I just wanted to give it a break, and I knew that it had led us. Look, we all have the voice within us, right? There's always that voice within us that we can all speak to. I think that was the purpose of doing the channeling docuseries, was to say that if we only listen to that voice within, it would never lead us in the wrong direction. Right. And I still listen to that voice within. I still speak to that voice, at certain times, not very often, as I should do. Right. But I do. And I know that it may be a bumpy road sometimes when we follow it, but it's always right. But since, doing some different types of work that I've been doing, like I said, in the murder docuseries and other things, I've just not wanted to go out there publicly to do the channeling right now. It may be something that I get back into in the future, right? But I know I call the docuseries They Call Us Channelers, because we all have that ability. We don't need to. It's nice to go see someone to clean the house up for us, right? But we all have that ability to go within and speak to a higher part of us.
Yes, that's exactly true. That's one of the things that we are teaching now in the Channeling Academy is you have the Kevin Moore show, you have They Call Us Channelers, and you have a murder series as well, where
Yeah.
you murder people or you talk
Well,
to murderers, or tell me about that. I'm a little curious.
yeah. I've got yeah. I've got the docu-series They Call Us Channelers, which is continually going out on my YouTube channel. So if you just go to YouTube, type in They Call Us Channelers or type in The Kevin Moore Show, you'll see that series on my channel. I do a talk show when I interview people in the spiritual field or metaphysical, called The Kevin Moore Show. And I've also got a new show on that channel called The True Crime Show, which is interviewing authors of true crime. And I'm also filming a docu-series on a murder that took place in Marin County back in July of 1982. So that's ongoing as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing to be mixing the true crime with the spiritual stuff. But I don't mind looking into the dark side of it as well. I think too much in the spiritual field, people don't want to look at the dark side, or don't want to look at both ends. And I don't know. Maybe I've just got an attraction to both. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
I don't think anything is really good or bad. I think that you get the opportunity to be introduced to both, and from your perspective, I'm sure what you're doing is incorporating, you're interviewing true crime writers, you say?
True crime authors, but I'm also filming a true crime docu-series called, currently it's called Richard Baldwin, A Murder in Camelot. It's about a murder that took place in 1982, and it leads to the secret space program. That's kind of a new age, word that's out there in the alternative field a bit, and it's really a docu-series that's looking at how when people say they do certain things, or they've done certain things, or they are innocent, for example. Let's just say that when obviously you look into a true crime and you spend a lot of years on it, and you go down the evidence, and of course they're not, and they're not who they say they are neither. I don't know if I could do that type of work without doing the sort of spiritual work as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, but where that's going to lead us, I have no idea. I think it all goes down just to going in what you feel is the right thing to do sometimes, or what purpose is. And purpose doesn't always have to be what other people agree with neither. Do you know what I mean? So a number of different things. Where it's all going, I have no idea. I have given up trying to figure it all out. Right? I'm just flowing with it right now. I do own the website as well, channeling.com, and that's going to be a reader's platform, which I'm currently working on as well. That will launch this year. And so that's just something else I've got going as well. So yeah, a number of different things. And so I've been kept really busy, and I got married as well. So
you got married? Is that how you got to
I did, and that's been challenging as well. I'm not going to say it's not. I don't know if in past lives I had many marriages, but whether that matters or not, I don't know. But yeah. So so lots of things going on. So yeah, that's how I got to America, and you can't. We try to plan our lives out sometimes, don't we? We think we've got it all road mapped and everything else, and life's got a different idea for you sometimes. It's pretty speaking to.
Yeah, the fascinating thing, where there were so many synchronicities that connected while we did that, and I still have people that say, I saw you several years ago on the Kevin Moore show, and then I saw you two channel together, and then I saw this, and it's amazing how many lives it continues to touch, and I'm sure you will get to 100. Interestingly enough, where Joy is right now, she is connected to a fellow that in Redding, California, that has Streaming for the Soul Studios. So there may be some link to getting to some of these channels that have to stay at home, and you being able to interview them via some other software program. You never know. I was wondering if you could, I don't know if you can, and this is like off the cuff, is there somebody that really stands out in your channeling series that really had unusual or really were unusually profound information, or what did you learn during interviewing however many channelers you interviewed?
One of the things I just want to say as well, and that's a great question, by the way, is that with the true crime, one of the things I think where I see it going, I'm just thinking this while we were just talking, I see it going where I want to interview people that have done long-term prison sentences. So I've just been interviewing this guy who's done 30-something years in prison. He's murdered one person, but harmed a lot of people in prison, right? And he's at a stage of his life right now where he's reflecting spiritually on why he's done these things. Okay, so one of the things with the true crime is also to be, interviewing long-term life sentence people in prison and trying to show people that not to go down, the how to do things from a different perspective, right? And the challenges that, what it does to a soul to experience kind of those kind of experiences. But going back to the question on the who, everyone that I got to interview had a fantastic take, right, or did a fantastic job. I thought I really enjoyed everyone that I interviewed, and some, there's got to be discernment in there where, okay, some may have only been channeling the higher self and may have masqueraded it as thinking it was something more than the higher self, even though the higher self is quite wise, right? But I think one of the most profound interviews I did was with this lady called Cass, who didn't really want to come on the docuseries, and we connected in the most weirdest, strangest ways of how these things happen. And she's channeling a member of the Seth group, and it was the understanding that the Seth group, Seth is a group, first thing, and that the Jane Roberts Seth is not the same Seth member as she's channeling. And there were other Seth members that came through on the docuseries as well, but they were members of this group. And to be speaking to the Seth group again, and just how powerful that group is, that was one of the more profound ones where, this lady, is being taken down by a regressionist called Alba Wyman. And all of a sudden, this, badass energy comes in, and it is just so to the point and so you could just feel the energy in the room with this thing. Again, blended by the person bringing it through. Still, there's still the person's persona coming through, like it is with most channelings. But there was, it was just an aha to be speaking to the Seth group, and that's not trying to take away any of the information that came from any other people neither, because it was all wonderful. And I think we all have channelers that we resonate with for particular reasons, and it's almost like no other channeler will work except for the particular channeler that you may resonate with. So I don't want to take it away from too many people, but it's been a real journey. And as I said in there before, without taking all the airtime here, discernment. It's a big thing. How can you tell when someone's bringing through something of the higher self compared to something of the lower self, in a sense as well? So
yes, it is interesting how the not a dichotomy or the duality, but when people come together and they say, well, she channels Seth from the Seth group, which is not necessarily the same as Jane Roberts, and people say, well, I channel Yeshua, so you can't possibly channel Yeshua or Jesus or the Archangel Michael. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. And speaking of channeling, do you have anything else that you would like to say before, or a share before I get out of the way? And I don't know ever what's going to happen there. I'm going to mute my microphone and let you turn yours on. And if you have anything that you want to communicate to everybody, we have lots of questions, and we'll answer questions at the end with Adironda. And if Kevin wants to stay on to answer questions, he can. It should be an interesting time.
Yeah, great question. You know, no matter what we're going through in life, no matter how difficult things may seem that they are, you know, it's nothing that we can't handle. We're not trucked by life, nothing that we can't get through. And, you know, no matter how dark the days may be. And to always realize that, you know, and one thing, interviewing, you know, prison inmates that I've been interviewing, and I haven't released some of these interviews yet, by the way, you know, just appreciating the small things that you have. Do you know what I mean? You know, just you know, and the people that are around us as well, just to appreciate them, and as much as, you know, I'm on this journey showing people to, you know, digging into the idea of beyond the of what we understand, you know, it is the reality or the consciousness that we think we understand, that it all comes down really to, we only have this life, and to make the most of it. And to be able to forgive ourselves when things don't work out the way that we think they should work out, or, you know, we're not performing to be the people that we think we should be as well. That, you know, we all make mistakes, and that we've got to learn to be able to forgive ourselves. And, you know, no matter how deep that you dig sometimes, it all comes back down to present moment is the most important place to be. And love is the only answer, and we're going to get it wrong. There's many times where I've messed up, so many times. I mean, if some of those people that I've messed up with could be here now, they would be saying, yep, he sure has. You know, they'd be patting me on the back just to agree with me. But, you know, it's like my dad used to say, you're on stage once, and, you know, you're going to get it wrong, and you just got to keep going forward. And yeah. What is the nature of reality? Maybe this is it. Maybe it's, you know, the most important thing is just to have experience, and what we take back with us. That is what we download back to the collective. That is really just as important as the taste of milk chocolate as compared to any other experience. So, you know, just love and make the most of it.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think Joyce said earlier that if you have questions, to put them in the Q&A box and not the chat, because the chat moves. And we can't guarantee that we will answer all questions, but we will do our best to get as many of them answered as possible. And Joy, I know you're there in the background. Is there anything else that we need to share with people? Besides your purple hair?
Yeah, my purple hair. Yeah. You know, everything's an illusion, right? And this is how easy it is to have an illusion. You just put a different colored light on your hair. I wanted to say to Kevin that, you know, I think that was really powerful what he said about living your best life right now, and forgiveness. You know, there's so much anger in the world right now, and there's so much love. And, you know, if we just learn to forgive ourselves, we all make mistakes. You know, it's one of the things, Kevin, that Adironda always says is, you know, there is no such thing as failure. It's just another F word for feedback. And I love that, because, you know, the failure is part of the journey too. I mean, that's how we grow the most, actually, is when we go through those experiences. So thank you very much for sharing that with everybody. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I do have quite a few questions, and if people would like to ask questions, you can ask your questions in the Q&A box, and I will be selecting out just a handful of them. We already had questions from the double-digit subscribers that came in first, and those do take priority. And I'm ready to go whenever you are, Marilyn.
Okay, well, let me get out of the way, and we'll see what we need to do. And it's great to see you again, Kevin. I'll be away for a while. I deliberately clear and seal this space on all sides, all directions, above and below, around myself and around everyone who's listening now, live with us, and everyone who listens to this in the future. And I fill that space with light and followers of the light. I am so thankful to be a direct channel for the Holy Spirit and the cosmic Christ consciousness. I'm honored by the presence of each of our master guides, teachers, and angels. I know they hold the intention that all healing, all information, all releasement, all transformation, all integration is for the highest good and highest joy of each person that's here with us live or each person that listens in the future. I'm also thankful to be able to step aside my own personal beliefs and paradigms, my own programs, my own ideas and contracts, so that all information that comes through is clear, concise, and succinct. I do open the Akashic records to be able to see past, present, and future. And for this, I give thanks. So it is good day to you, huh? Oh, so very good to see your light, your brightness, your divine presence. We see you and we honor you, dearest Kevin. We honor you. We've got a studio audience member right here with us. We honor each of you. As you see this energy that is flowing in, we have given you information that this is a perfect environment as a metaphor for what is happening on the planet. You understand this, yes? You know, the sound is not working on the planet. The people are not working on the planet. The energy is going through. There's no explanation to see how this is going to happen and how it is indeed going to level out. And yet it does. Mystically, almost magically, it will level out. You know, today is a day of ending of cycles and trusting the divine flow of the universe. So it is perfect that we have our guest channel on that is not a channel any longer. And maybe he'll get back to that any longer. So it is perfect in that capacity because this is a time of expecting the unexpected. So today is the double digit, 7-7, which is a powerful day. You've got 7-7, 2020. It all adds up to a 18, which reduces down to a 9, which is the ending of a cycle. Oh, take a deep breath, dearest ones, because this cycle that the earth is in is ending. And in some capacities, it's almost going kicking and screaming as it's ending this cycle. But it is ending one cycle of chaos and moving into the cycle of love. We are, as we've said many times, entering the intuition age. So this is where all people are getting information. All energies are getting information. They may not be able to understand them yet. And that is why you simply get to ride the wave. You get to trust when you are guided somewhere, as our dear friend Kevin is trusting that is from the United Kingdom and goes to Wisconsin and goes to Kansas, of all places. Well, Kansas needs as much light as it can get, we know. All states, all countries do right now. That is why people are guided to move or be in different parts of the world. And as they're guided to be in those different parts of the world, what is indeed happening is in that part of the world, things are shifting, things are moving, things are around. We have people from South America, people from all continents on with us right here, right now. And what is happening, it's like that video in the beginning where the dots are going round about that planet. And that video is exactly what is happening right now. You, dearest beings of light, are ending a very large cycle of this planet. So of course it's going to get a little chaotic before it smooths out. Vessel Marilyn saw a story. She just briefly looked at it. But we saw it and wish to tell it to you because it's a perfect example of what is happening on this planet, and trusting that this planet is changing. Is it all right if we tell you this story? It is about what they call lynch dirt. We don't even know if that is the correct name. We never saw the article. But it is where people would go through the South, and where trees were, where people were actually, people of color were actually lynched. They gather some of the dirt from that area and replant it somewhere and make an altar out of it to the lives that were lost in such a violent way. Well, this is a tradition somewhere. We do not know where. You could probably Google it and find it, but we did not. But there was a woman that was telling this story. And she was an elderly woman, is the way she described herself. She was probably just ageless, as our vessel Marilyn is. And she was led, she was from the north or from out west, we don't know where she was from, not from the south. And she was led to go and collect dirt from specific areas. And she went in, and she was a bit frightened because she was all by herself. And she went under a tree where someone had been lynched in 1934. And she was digging the dirt under this tree, was very nervous about that because she was on someone else's land. And this truck drove by with a man in it, a white man. Take a deep breath. And the truck slowed down, and the man looked at her very closely. And the woman got very frightened, but she continued digging. And she watched the truck drive away very slowly. And then she saw the truck turn around. And the woman thought, oh no, he's going to come, hurt me or get me off his land or do something to me. And the truck slowed down again. And then it stopped. And the white man, and this woman was a white woman as well. She was not a person of color. This white woman, elderly, was digging dirt, and this white man comes up and says, what are you doing? And the woman says, I'm digging dirt. This is a tree that someone was lynched on, a person of color was lynched in 1934, and I'm taking some of this dirt to honor that person, make a special place for it. The man stood there for a moment, and the woman was very frightened and didn't know if she should run away or scream or what. And then the man says, may I help? And she says, yes. And he fell to his knees and started digging with his hands and putting dirt in her buckets. And the woman realized that she was weeping. She didn't even know that or know why. And the man, she saw his shoulders shaking as his back was to her, and she realized he was weeping as well. Well, they got her buckets filled up with dirt that they called lynching dirt. And the man said, "Thank you. Thank you for letting me help. May I take our picture?" So he held out his phone and took a selfie of the two of them. And she asked him, "Why did you stop?" And he said, "Well, it is very possible that my ancestors were the ones that had this lynching here. And I would like to honor the people that were destroyed." That is what is happening on the planet right now. Right now, whether you are, what color you are, yellow, red, brown, black, the people of color, all colors, have been persecuted more than the people who are white. That is what we have observed in looking at the history of your lands. That is why all of this is happening right now, to bring it to light that it must stop so the people of this planet can evolve. We know that that is a strong statement, dearest beings of light. And we plead with each of you as light plurkers. Play plus work equals plurk. So you are a light plurker as you are playing at your work of shifting the consciousness of this planet. And it will take all of the light plurkers to shift that consciousness. You see, because there are travesties happening with yellow people in Hong Kong. There are travesties happening with people in Africa. There are travesties happening with people, the indigenous, all over this planet. Dearest beings of light, today is the ending of that cycle of judgment and criticism and destruction because someone is a different color or believes differently than you do. All people are sacred, yes. But right now, those who have been persecuted for centuries get the opportunity to be held into a place of light. Please. For that is what is shifting the conscious realm of this planet and moving it to a new dimension. You have seen the lights already created in the sky. The galactics are watching, are connecting with you to see how this little planet can evolve through the turmoil that is being created right now. We know. Many of you say, "Well, I thought this was supposed to be a message of love." This is a message of love. This is a message to plead with you, to love all. Even those people that you disagree with, you still must love them. Even though they may murder someone, you still must love and forgive. And you, as spiritual warriors, Spiritual beings must carry that frequency out so it expands beyond where you even thought possible in your little circle or your little world. You see what we mean. You see that energy. You see that frequency. You see the world, half of the world wearing masks and the other half angry because someone asked them to put on a mask or someone asked them to take off a mask. How silly is that? And yet, you still must love them, no matter what. There is source, God, if you would. There is source energy, which is what we prefer because it is genderless, in every single thing on this planet and off of this planet. If you were to look at all of the rocks of the land and you were to gather up all of the rocks that you could see and put them in your front yard, would you look at those rocks and say, well, I really only like the green rocks. We don't like the brown rocks, or we don't like the purple rocks. We just like the green ones in my yard. Doesn't matter whether the green ones match our house or not. All the rocks are to be loved. You see what we say? All things. There is the source of all that is in all things and all people. And if you look closely enough, dearest beings of light, you will see that source. For with that source, this world will change. Because you carry that source in every cell of your body, in every cell of your field, which is 26 feet across, which is big enough to wield a big energy. So when you complain and say, how can those people do that? You're talking about yourself. You're talking about your ancestors as the man who was digging up the dirt by the lynching tree. Some of that dirt is in a museum somewhere, honoring those who were persecuted. How do you honor those who were persecuted? Or were you persecuted? And how do you rise above it? You know, when you get to this age, dearest old soul, you've done it all. And some of that trauma may follow you until you recognize it. That is why our vessel Marilyn teaches the Akash, to help you release and integrate all of those old things. That is the key, you see. The key to living is loving all. Not the key to living is loving those who look like you or those who believe like you. You say you want the galactics here, and then someone says, what about all the bad galactics? Well, those are the ones that are in the movies. You see, there are signals that are going out from your planet right now that are communicating and connecting with beings that are watching. to see how this little planet evolves through love. And they may not even understand love. And you are teaching them. So, dearest beings of light, be the being of light that we call you. It is that simple. And whenever you face adversity, stop. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, this being has source in them just as I do. How can I see that source now? It only takes a few to shift the world. And all of the hundreds that see this message, some of them will say, oh, this is too upsetting. I cannot watch this. I love you. We may upset you sometimes. And yet you are the light plurkers of this planet. You are the change makers. You are the ones who are riding the wave of consciousness to evoke the dimensional shift of this planet into the next realm and the next dimension. It is you. And that is a powerful undertaking. So it takes all types. Our dearest friend Kevin, who comes in and shakes the energy up just a bit. Yes, it takes all types. It takes all avenues. It takes all connections to clear out that which is not in integrity. And then you ask, well, by whose judge of integrity? That is for your heart to answer. The master teachers of this planet, before humans might have twisted their message, all had the same message: love. So it is time to unravel the twisting of the messages of the greatest teachers of this planet and go back to the core. And you can unravel that. And maybe it is going down and digging dirt around a lynching tree to be the example. Maybe it is holding your brother or your sister with love, even though their politics are all different than yours. What is it that you can do to be proactive? Because, dearest beings of light, this planet needs, wants, is asking for your proactivity of love. So anything that is not in integrity of love is raising to the surface right now. So it can be dealt with, shifted, and integrated so it is no longer in charge. We know normally We are very much funnier than we are right now, huh? Now you're thinking, oh dear, what are we doing here? Well, we are looking into your hearts. We are seeing the fear of what is happening. And we are acknowledging that you have the strength to stand strong, even with those sevens that are out of balance. They're still looking forward, adding up to a 9 to end that cycle and ride the wave of consciousness, to trust that you are a being of light, a light plurker, following your guidance to do, be, have, and experience the love that you are. And for that, we ask for your commitment to you. Take a deep breath. Take another deep breath. And again. Dearest light plurker, be you. Be love. We know we have several questions, several from that were given before and several more that were in the Q&A, 135 questions or something there. So the joy is there with her violet hair.
that was just beautiful, Adironda. That was a beautiful message, very timely. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so the first question is about working with a pendulum. Is it a real way to connect with spirit? Can pendulum help to connect? It's true, through pendulum, people can channel dark entities if they are not ready. I think they're asking, is that true?
We believe that if you are the light and you are using a pendulum, how could you possibly attract something that is dark to you? It follows your intention. Yes, the answers come through the Christ consciousness. It depends on who you are connecting with your pendulum. Why don't you learn to use your intuition before you use your pendulum? And we're going to see if, Kevin, if you have anything to say, wave at us and we'll open your microphone and you can join in on the questions, huh?
You can join in on any of the ones that you want, Kevin. Just raise your hand.
What we are saying with the pendulum is it follows the Christ consciousness energy if that is how you set your intention. And if it follows the Christ consciousness energy, which is the energy of love, and ask that all answers come through that higher place or that place of truth or consciousness, what is this language thing? Then you can't possibly attract anything to you. The pendulum is just a piece of metal. It has no power. It follows energy. You are the one with the power. Next question.
Dear Adironda, Are you acquainted with pulsating electromagnetic therapy, PEMF? It stimulates and oxygenates all cells in the body, repairs bones, dissolves cancer cells, helps dementia, among many other things. Your opinion?
What is it called?
It's called pulsating electromagnetic therapy.
We are not, but let us look, huh? Pulsating electromagnetic therapy is a dimensional connection with the electrical force of human body. The body is an electrical system. So therefore, when you stimulate it through electrical pulses, then the body will respond. So yes, it is possible that it will assist. However, it all works with intention as well. And so if you believe that it will work a bit better. But you see, the body is an electrical system. So when you pulse electromagnetic impulses through the body, things are going to shift and move around. And for many, that will cure ailments that were a problem before. It is like some say laying on magnets will help. Some say, there's, what are those amethyst heated beds will help. Everyone is different. So there's not one technique. This is a technique and it can work. So it can't hurt to try it. Next question.
Realizing all physical manifestations of ill health cannot be healed in the physical, but the spiritual realm. How does one accomplish this?
Well, that sort of goes along with the last question, eh? You get an electromagnetic and stick it up to your body and see if it works, huh? No. The Arvesol Marilyn facilitates holographic healing. There are many healing techniques and modalities that are on this planet now, probably more than ever before. And those techniques go into the emotional body as well as the mental and the physical body, because the emotional body is normally the core of the ailment. So there's some program or pattern that may still be running that is causing the body to still hang on to something. And you can rearrange that with intention, with visualization, maybe even electromagnetic pulses or other healing techniques, and you get to see what works the best. Our Vessel Marilyn's friend had a esoteric healing session today. She's a new woman. So everyone has that energy. Everyone has that possibility. You, as a spiritual being, you get to look into the hard places. Maybe those places that you have not looked before. Or maybe there's something that you have not acknowledged that is the cause of an ailment in its core. And once you heal that cause, or you may see the good that comes from that. We look at, we use the example of Christopher Reeve, who was Superman, yes, in the original. And then he had an accident and was a paraplegic or quadriplegic, paralyzed from the neck down. Yet he changed the laws of how disabled people are treated in this country, maybe the world. So good came from that. He became proactive. Another actor was diagnosed with Parkinson's. And because of that, there's been more and more research on that. So what good is coming from the ailment? You have to look at both sides. and see what is the core. Are you willing to do what it takes to heal it? Or what is the good that is coming from that? And are you willing to acknowledge that? You know, when you have an ailment and it just hangs on and hangs on, how can you be of service through that ailment? Maybe it is helping other people with that ailment, huh? You see, that is a part of it. You are here to be of service.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the key. And we know sometimes you just feel like you've done it all. You've taken every course and taken all of this and done all this, and you still carry that ailment. So why is that? If you've done all the courses and bought all the pulsating electromagnetic things, and you bought all the devices, and you bought all the crystals, and you slept on them, and you did all of those things, and you still have it, then you have to say, well, obviously you have it for a reason. What good are you doing with it? And maybe that will lift it. It cannot hurt. So what service are you with that ailment? How are you serving humanity with what you have learned? Do you have anything to add to that, Master Kevin? Huh?
No, I was just saying that everything that's being said here is so powerful, and yeah, I think you've answered it really without me having to add too much. It's you know, when it's hanging around, and when you've done everything to try to cure yourself of whatever it may be that you're going through, that it's what can you learn from it, and what is it there to teach yourself and others. It's such a powerful reminder that is. So just, thank you for what you're saying. Thank you.
Next question, huh?
Some people and communities will be in alignment with the outcome of what is perceived through numerology, and some people and communities will have the opposite outcome. Does this mean numerology only works if you believe in it?
Numerology is a science that many have studied. Tibetans, Sanskrit, Pythagoras. And so that is not something to believe in or not to believe in. It is numbers and the meanings that one gives numbers. We are getting ready to come out with our own belief on the numbers as well. So does the number change because you believe it does or it does not? If everything is an illusion, does that make a difference? If you give your power away and say you can or cannot do something because your numerology does not support it, that's giving your power away. If you look at your numerology of your name and you feel stronger because your name adds up to an 8 or a 6 or something, then good. Does that mean that you have to believe in that? If it works for you, why not? If it doesn't do, then why not? You see, all things. Some people play the tarot. Some people look for oracles. Some people look for power that is outside of themselves to confirm who they are. And if you need that, that is fine. But ultimately, eventually, you need to look into yourself and to use that as a key, maybe. Oh, so that is why I believe this way. That is why I am this way, is because my numerology adds up to a 2, which is why I always want to have duality in everything, or why I have to be in divine partnership. Or I'm not complete if I'm not in divine partnership. Do you see what we're saying? What we are saying is, it is a way to learn more about yourself. But it should not govern your life, whether you believe in it or whether you don't believe in it. It is every numerologist that we know has a little different interpretation of those numbers. So you have to see the one that resonates most with you. And if you don't believe any of it, that is fine too. Believe in yourself. Our question to you is, use it only as a reference. If you start seeing repetitive numbers around, usually someone, your guides, your angelic realm, someone is trying to get your attention. What does that mean? But if you are afraid to go somewhere because it's a 9-day, and what happens if you go on a 9-day and then you're going to end a cycle of some sort? Well, what is the number that comes after 9? 10, which is starting something new. So again, use it only as a guide. If you start seeing the number 724, 724, 724, what does that mean? Does it mean that you have to buy a house that's got the address of 724? Or does that mean that it's just a sample and it's just a synchronicity when you realize that your telephone number that the telephone company gave you was 724? Or is it some significance that adds up to a 724? What is that? A 6, a 13, which is 4? Thank you. Which means you may need more structure in your life. That is not necessarily belief or disbelief. Next question. If you're talking, we cannot hear you.
It's that little mute thing, it just keeps popping up. What happened in Hong Kong is upsetting, and there are many other countries and people who do not have freedom. Is this going to change for the better, and what can we do to help?
We believe we answered that in the message today. You see, by you being peacefully proactive, you can help. By you standing strong and realize that you do have power. And understanding that even in the smallest type of intention, that can make a difference. That is why we teach about the bracelets. If you don't know about the bracelets, look on the website. Someone there has written something about it. Because your thoughts are making a difference. Keep your thoughts pure. Keep your feelings strong. Remember the old create acts of kindness and senseless beauty. And the world became better for a time. Instill that again. Plant flowers around signs that no longer serve. Help yourself. Help people learn that they have a choice. And that the travesties that some people have received because of who they are is unacceptable any longer. Take a deep breath. It is time to take a stand for peace. Next question.
Thank you, Adironda. I have been automatic writing since we attended your online seminar recently. They say they are a group, and I may refer to them as Morpheus. The context has been mainly about me, which is good, but I want to broaden the context. How may I do that? And did you start out so slowly? I don't know what to think, and I tire out really quickly.
So, when you are doing your guided writing in the assignment, congratulations. We are thankful for that. It does take a while simply because at first, many times you get the opportunity to hear how much they love you and everything that is all about you and how good you are and what you're going to be doing and what you're experiencing in this world. Write a question at the top of the page and see what the answer is. And eventually, you will begin to get answers. I wrestle Marilyn, she did automatic writing for several years, or guided writing for several years. They started giving her answers within about 6 or 7 months, when she was ready to say, okay, so you love me. I understand that. Now what? Know that it will come. If you are very tired afterwards, you're actually using your energy to connect with them, and you do not need to. Ask to make that connection without draining your energy. Next question.
This next question is actually for Kevin. Kevin, it would be awesome if, there was actually 2 questions. One, where can they listen to the Duo channel? I'm sure we can get that link and put it in an email. And the other one was, what group did you channel?
Great question. Yeah. I'll send you that link as well so that you can send that on. Well, it's strange because when I look back at it, I kind of came up with the name consciously, but if I think about it, was it conscious? It was a group called The One, and it included, well, it said the main participant in that was Edgar Casey, and I know if I tuned in, they would be there. I know they would be. Yeah, so it was called The One, and it was always it led me to write a book, which I've not published yet. And we all have this ability to connect back to our group, our guides. I mean, we all have this ability, but yeah, I don't know too much about them, to be quite honest with you, except for the main person was Casey. Very loving soul.
And it was quite a fascinating conversation that we had together, huh?
Yes, it was. And we always doubt it, don't we? I mean, there was a lot of doubt within me after it as well, but when I listened back to it, well, there was a lot of love there, that's for sure, right? But it was almost like my group was on an experiment of finding others within different soul groups, which sounds kind of difficult to put into words when I even say it right now. And yes, it was a fascinating conversation, and I think that sometimes that if we're open to the idea of going as deep as possible, then it's amazing what can come out. The deeper that we can ask the question, the sort of deeper the sort of response to that question is, and it just showed me, when speaking to yourself as well, just that just how much that we are. How much spiritual information is out there that we've barely touched upon, and that we are in really the very beginning journey of this. No matter how many books have been written out there on the idea of what is it, why we're here, and where we're journeying to, and what the reason is for this experience, it's almost like a grain of sand on an infinite beach. And it seems so sort of cliche to say that, but it really is. We only know what we're able to to comprehend, I guess, and where that's going to push us in that right direction. But there is so much to learn. I'll just, kind of leave it there.
So Kevin, if you said if you tune in, and I know you don't channel professionally anymore, but do you still get messages, or did you actually cut that off? Because I know some people experience cutting off their channel.
It's funny you say that, right? Because some of the channelers that have some of the highest views on the channeling docuseries so far are ones that don't do it anymore, right? Which is kind of crazy. And yeah, I purposely chose to cut it off because there was a number of things, and I think my ego totally got in the way. I'll be honest with you. And I know it's there, and it's I'm able to do it, but it was funny. It's funny that your last guest was Lee Carroll, and he made it quite clear to me that my thing was not about channeling. My thing was a very different purpose. He actually gave me a reading on the interview that we did together. But yeah, I cut it off, and I'm sure I could bring it back. And I guess if I'll be honest, there was embarrassment for doing it. There was also, with doing some of the other work that I was doing, I was embarrassed that it was going to sort of not open up doors for me. But I've kind of gone past that now, and it's funny because the other work that I'm doing in the true crime, actually people love the spiritual stuff, right? Which is the crazy thing, and they're like, well, why don't you just get a medium or psychic or channeler to get the answers on some of these disappearances and stuff and other things like that. So yeah, meeting victims and families of true crime, they're very much into the spiritual side. I think it forces you in that direction sometimes. Do you know what I mean? To look at where is this loved one gone that where's my healing, basically. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
So with that energy, and as it is coming through, know that it is not about being the channel, it is about being the divine link. And those divine links are everywhere. Everyone has it, as you say. And that is the key. You understand?
Absolutely, and and everything that you've brought through today has been so powerful. I just want to say that as well. It makes me just that when I was listening back to what you were saying earlier on, I was like, and that's why I got her on.
Yes.
I didn't know what message you were going to give, but that was fantastic.
Thank you. Is there another question? Is the joy still there? Huh?
Yeah, there is one more question about.
I know that there's lots.
Yeah, there actually are a lot of questions, but there's one more question, Adironda, about shooting stars. Somebody was watching a light cross the sky, and they thought it was a shooting star, and they kept wondering about it, and they got the answer that it may be the galactics. So their question is, what is a shooting star?
Well, a shooting star is a shooting star. It's a star that is traveling across, or an asteroid or something like that. However, a shooting star is not a galactic. However, the galactics are coming much closer. The signal in New York was a galactic connection. You see, so what you saw, we do not know. Your question was, what is a shooting star? A shooting star is a shooting star. And yet, there are sequences of events that are coming and happening now that the galactics, many galactic races, are looking to this planet and beginning to connect and communicate more consciously than they have before. To some, that causes them to be in fear. So stop watching the new movies. Instead, watch E.T. or Cocoon. Those are truth. They may not sell as many movies, though. So know that the galactics have been asking for your help. And they may come again to ask for your help. But it does not have anything to do with the shooting star. But they may look like a star that stays shooting across the horizon for a bit too long. You will be seeing ships. They will begin showing themselves when it is safe. At this moment, it is not safe. Can you imagine if governments are killing their own people, what they would do with beings from other planets? It is not safe yet, which is another reason why we ask you. We are not from here. It is another reason why we ask you to hold that consciousness of light and know that beings that are different from you are not necessarily bad or wrong. They are just different. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful answer.
Let's take one more question and then we'll have an activation.
Okay, this is a how-to question that I think many people are struggling with right now. She asks, riding the wave of this energy, it seems very challenging to set up a daily routine. Every day is a new day. Any suggestions to help us light plurkers adjust to this wave?
If you believe that it is challenging to set up your daily routine, then it is. It is that simple. During this time, you are correct. It would be better suited to find something and some time that is just yours for meditation and journaling, because that is where you express all of the things that are floating around in your brain. We talked with someone that they said, oh, I can't do that. And we said, well, you can get up at 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning. And they said, yes, but I don't get to bed until 11 or 12 because of this, or children, or 4 kids, and this, and the husband, and blah, 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 kids and dogs and pets and cats and whatever. And then she went to her job and thought, I could go into the bathroom stall. No one will invade my privacy there. And she began creating her routine by going into the bathroom stall with her journal, setting her timer for 10 minutes, and meditating for 5 and writing for 5. She said it changed her life. And then she found a little more time and a little more time. So that routine is what you choose to make it. There's no routine that is stronger than that of sitting in the stillness of your own energy. It boosts your immune system. It lowers your blood pressure. It clears your mind and helps you see the answers that you seek. even if it just is 5 minutes in a bathroom stall. It still works. So let us activate that flow of your own spiritual routine. Take a deep breath. We hear many of you that when you take a deep breath, it's like, that is not a deep breath. Take a deep breath, a nice, deep, slow breath. And blow it out easily. And again, take a nice, deep, slow breath. And release it easily. And again, see how slowly you can take a deep breath. And see how slowly you can release it. There is your routine. You see, everyone has the same 24 hours. Are you in the flow or are you paddling against it? Take a deep breath, and as you visualize yourself in that boat flowing down the river, exhale. With ease and grace. And if you're afraid of water, it's time to let that go. And you let it go by saying, I choose to release my fear of water. And so it is done. Take a deep breath and listen with your heart, not with your ears. Alikunyakiatia, wakia nuka, ma'anik, usha akinisha doko, so a niki, nikia, nia. You are a part of our soul as well. You are leading with your mind, which judges. Please lead with your heart, with compassion, with compassionate love, to make compassionate freedom. Breathe into that. You see, dearest beings of light, all is happening in divine flow, and sometimes it is difficult to trust that. We know. So see the divinity in that flow and ask yourself, what can I do to help that divine flow come into that love once again? Because love is always here. And for that, we are grateful. Breathe. And again. We love you deeply. We see you. And we bid you namaste. Namaste.
Just give Marilyn a second to come back here. And thank you so much, Kevin Moore, for joining us this evening. It was quite an honor and pleasure to have you on with us. And there are a lot of people in the chat window that I think have followed your work in the channeling world, and we'll be looking into some of your new work as well. And welcome to the United States.
Thank you both so very much. It's really appreciate being on and you giving me the airtime just to have a chat with you and catch up. Thank you for all you do as well.
Thank you, Marilyn. And thank you so much, Marilyn, for all you do always. And
Thank you, Joy, for all you do.
Oh, there was nowhere else I'd rather be tonight. And thank you to all of our double digit subscribers. We are grateful that you are with us every month. And thank you to all of our guests that have joined us just for this evening. And with that, I'll say namaste, y'all. Namaste.
Namaste, y'all.